Rivers are freezing across Poland, Russia, most snow in 200 years. Kenya can't feed themselves. They got on the dependency loop. And now China, record rains 8 inches in a single day in multiple places across the south, along with Singapore. What is happening across this planet? Starting you off in Poland. Also, you history bugs and antenna seekers, with our wireless power still intact. A few places, especially that large spire right there going up. The tallest of them are these ether harvesting devices. Still in place is the question. Extreme temperatures freeze one of Europe's great rivers. We saw this with the River Thames, 1640 England, but now we get the Vistula River freezing. People out there, be careful if you're going on frozen surfaces that don't often freeze. It might not be as frozen as you think it is. And off a video clip here, ice-breaking operations on Poland's Oder and Vistula rivers both have been paused due to harsh conditions. They can't even get the icebreakers in there because it's refreezing so quickly. So these two rivers are icebound at the moment. And if we're looking up at the Baltic Sea, far right, you can see the little bit of red where if you come a little bit south, Norway, Finland, that sort of area coming in there. Lithuania, Latvia area, Baltic Sea, Nagliai, Nature Reserve, sand dunes, more like mini glaciers. Lagoon, frozen solid right along with the lakes. This is coming off the EU Copernicus here for us. Last of January. This has been an ongoing event for like almost 4 straight weeks now. Get us up the Gulf of Riga coming into February, and this is not alleviated. It's gotten even stronger and more dense with the sea ice. Now, with this being said, they did have a massive freeze in 2012. Also, the Danube froze, but this is in Hungary, Budapest. So you see these rivers do freeze at times, but not nearly as solid as what you just saw in Poland. I've been to Budapest. Awesome. Encourage you to go there. Great food, great people, amazing architecture, and a lot of old world stuff still in visible sight for you. But the ice didn't clog like it did solid, where it's refreezing. They can't even get icebreakers in there to keep the channels open. Very different, but along that same vein. And more castles in Poland. Notice this is the before 1911. And we swing to the after. What was stripped off of this place? Kind of left intact. Beautiful stonework. And if we do the same side by side, what has also been taken away from this wonderful place? Look at the just incredible craftsmanship, which I've seen a lot of these spires that come up that have these rock sort of hooks that look like rock hooks coming off the side of them, very front of you right there, that pyramid spire. There's a lot of conjecture and stories about what these things were actually used for and why were they so prevalent across Europe. And in addition to all this ice, the precipitation coming down, otherwise known as snow, has prompted a level 5 out of 5 extreme red warning in Switzerland for avalanches, as well as Slovenia. Look, in some areas in France, the whole Alps is just an avalanche zone at the moment. So, something seems to have changed a little bit this year. And if we look at the history too, going back, there's some areas in Europe and Eastern Europe that still have a lot of the, let's say, more intactness of it that wasn't destroyed through World War II, was rebuilt after, also added on to. But there are glimpses of history, especially in the museums, if you go back and look for some of these older images to show you what the old world looked like compared to what our quote unquote new world. I'm wondering what was removed that we don't have access to at our fingertips any longer. But that's a discussion for a different day, perhaps on a safari. Here we go. Kenya. You're so used to seeing the zebras and the giraffes, elephants and the like. Nairobi coming in, central business district. This place is starting to get hot, hot, hot. Investment flowing in. China's there. Everybody's wanting to be there. They got the ports on the east. On January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy announced $2.7 billion in contracts to restore domestic uranium enrichment capabilities. On January 14th, the U.S. administration showed their support again. The White House invoked Section 232 via an executive order, a formal declaration of U.S. resource independence. It's a mandate. Energy security is now synonymous with national security. And the U.S. government is deploying its full physical and regulatory arsenal to secure the nuclear fuel cycle within North America. Here's the reality. The U.S. consumes over 50 million pounds of uranium annually, but produces less than 1 million pounds domestically. That means we're dependent on foreign suppliers for 98% of our uranium, a critical vulnerability for national security, power generation, and advanced defense systems. This is where Atomic Minerals comes in, trading on the TSX venture under ATOM Atom, and in the United States, OTC under ATMMF. The leadership includes members who were behind the discovery and $654 million sale to Rio Tinto, an exit about 59 times larger than Atomic Minerals' current valuation. You do the math. Atomic controls 4 100% owned uranium projects strategically located in the Colorado Plateau. Trading at an 87% discount to the peer group average, the company presents potential upside as the market begins to recognize its strategic asset and proven management team. Uranium prices have surged, and some analysts project they could reach $100 per pound as demand outpaces supply. Atomic Minerals isn't waiting. The company has drill programs underway, with exploration results pending and government support accelerating. With a government mandate, an experienced management team, and strategic uranium assets in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, Atomic Minerals is a company I'm watching closely. If you want to learn more about this critical minerals story and the team that already delivered big results, click on that link in the description. And a special thanks to Atomic Minerals for making today's video possible. That's atomicminerals.ca. What's surprising, this article here, I kind of had to shake my head and do a little research, so I went a little deeper for you here. Drought deepens hunger in northern Kenya as aid cuts bite. And I said, wait a minute, they have some vast agriculture here. Incredible amounts of rainfall, and they even got parts of lakes, mega lakes that are sitting in this place. How is this possible? And then I, went up to Reuters and I jumped around a few other sites trying to find this same article if it was a little bit longer and more detail. And indeed, there's your zebras. Look at this green, verdant pasture lands during the rain seasons, and 3.2 liters of oil. That's not even a gallon that they get from the United Nations World Food Program per month. So these families are wild foraging for fruit and getting United Nations oil donations. And the World Food Program field office in Turkana, and here we go, that number 33 is there for you again, 333,000 people required in the country for food aid, but cuts have suddenly knocked that out. And I would say, whoa, hold on a second. We've been stringing these people along, just giving them food aid so they don't learn how to do any agriculture, don't know how to do any waterworks project to store water when it gets dry. Like, what kind of travesty is this? You got to be kidding me. I'm shaking my head going, no way. Kenya is one of the wealthier countries in Africa. Vast farmlands. I got some charts here for you compared to other, behemoths of agriculture. All that money coming in from tourism. You're sitting on a lake that's part of a remnant of a mega lake that's still intact. And you don't have enough food to grow. I'm just so shocked. And then looking, okay, the food aid, that's the portion where we should be using and earmarking large percentages of that to teach them better agriculture, to get them better, farming practices in there, and sure going to get some water storage techniques and also reforestation. How about moringa oleifera to make all these breaks from the wind and things? Like, you're telling me after 50, 60 years, they're still on handouts? That's incredible. Incredible. It's sickening actually to see it, that nothing's been solved, just throwing money at the problem that's not helping anything or anybody. And as soon as that money dries up, you already see people are begging for, oh, we don't have any food. We don't have food. Nobody taught you how to grow food in any of these World Food Program and United Nations program. Nobody taught you how to grow food or get more resilient on it, or different farming tech, or different nitrogenous, homemade fertilizer. Nothing, no training like that at all. Just give me the money. Same like with the supermarkets. What happens if we do go into a hyperinflationary event and the same thing happens in the States, and what was $1 suddenly turns into 1 cent? How are people going to be able to, well, adapt to that situation? Are you going to go wild foraging fruits like these people are out here? You're going to hit the World Food Program and United Nations Food Assistance for, hey, give me some olive oil so I can cook not canola oil for you, my friend. Sunflower oil at its best, that's all you get, a full gallon a month. I can't believe this is even happening. Waste of the year in front of you. Let's look at the land cover map of Kenya. Anywhere green where it says trees, and that light green where it says grass. Shrubs out there could all be replanted. This is a massive mega agriculture area waiting to happen. And what do I see? 2 mega lakes there on the left west. And you still can't get the waterworks project? Come on, come on, come on. This is just like sickening and ridiculous to look at this. Okay, the areas where savanna are can be rehabilitated with plant growth and natural tree breaks, and that should be farmed as well. All types of techniques around the world today to get this in these semi-arid areas to really produce a lot of food, and they're still sitting here asking for food aid. I don't even say that the Kenyans themselves, but this travesty of getting them hooked on free stuff and not teaching them anything. So here's the farmland compared to other countries. This is an approximation, and on the right is the source there. So it's Business Insider, Statista, which they got some good information as well. Now, unbelievably, Sudan is the largest, first in Africa for agricultural land, 112 million hectares. And remember, that's 2.42 acres into a hectare. So we're looking at about 270 million acres. That's a lot. It's unbelievable how large Africa is in the first thing. Then you come down like 100 million hectares, 45 million in Angola, Somalia, come down to Mali, and then Mozambique, and Kenya, 27. Multiply by 2.4, that's well over 50 million acres. And you're telling me they can't grow food, that they're asking for food assistance on 50 million acres of farmland, not just land and scrub brush, farmland. 50 million acres. And a few of you rock hounds out there, I found the old school here, Kenya geological map. This thing, you can blow it up tremendously. It was a 5,000 by 5,000 resolution. Might want to stop here and take a look. If you're into one of the oldest continents on the planet, California's Central Valley producing 80% of the world's almonds. Well, rip it up. Rip it up. Almonds require 3.2 gallons of actual irrigation just to grow. And at the end of it, 1 gallon of almond milk requires 162 gallons of irrigation water input. So again, when they say money grows on trees, well, it does if it's almonds. So then what are these almond farmers going to do? Suddenly, the whole world's turned against them because, they found they use a lot of water to really bring you this product that's supposed to be a substitute for dairy cattle and regular milk production. So just think about the amount of waste that has been in this entire process. Like, they put up those thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of orchard there. How long did it take for those almond trees to come up to starting to produce into production, max production, and then they get at that stable plateaued level there? But now they're just ripping them all out because a couple of news articles are like, what's going to happen if it's windmills? Oh, wait, it already is, but we're not doing much about it. But it's almonds. That's okay. Rip them up. You see what we're coming to in this world here. Everything that was supposed to be a substitute and a better for the previous turns out to have its own set of issues, that there's no perfect anything. So, we should have just let systems lie the way they were instead of trying to upset the apple cart and maybe find a cherry under all the apples. That's exactly what they're doing. Over to Singapore, get you in that same category of like Tokyo, Seoul, Taipei, Singapore. Top-notch engineering, and the amount of rainfall came down just, overwhelmed even the most modern Asian waterworks systems that are used to taking typhoons and getting that water out. Not so much down there in Singapore. They don't get that many typhoons, but they do have monsoonal rain, so they're used to getting a lot of rain. was looking to go, all right, well, how could they have flash floods during the second day, Chu'er, of Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year? 2026 is wettest day yet. Yeah, but in terms of the averages, you look at the bottom, it said the total rainfall recorded for the week of the 13th and 19th, 166 millimeters. And then I look up and I go, oh, that's 6.5 inches. Well, that's quite a bit of rain. Overwhelming, even high tech, modern engineering inside some of the most modern cities in Asia. And then we're jumping up to China here on the same days here. This will take us to the 24th of the rainfall. Not even a typhoon, no like tropical systems in sight. But look at this. They're going to be getting upwards of 8 inches in those strawberry pink colored areas. Anywhere in blue, that dark blue, still looking at 4 inches, but 8 inches across that vast swath there. I mean, that's just saturated everything. Delayed planting, because the further you go south, they're already into the planting season down there. So let's look at Russia. Electroverse bringing this cap all on. Thanks for the update. Moscow logs snowiest January in 203 years. It's official now. Looking over, and I went to Straits Times. Now, I don't know how they got this on January 30th when it was still in January when they got this. That's what I'm saying. Are you calling it over the 200? That means well into earlier January that it had hit the 200-year mark. If they were already marking it as such before the month's out. But if there is time to slow down in the icy rivers of the Netherlands, Holland, Danish windmills, everywhere you look, there's plenty of time for skating across multiple countries. Give you that moment of zen. You can see there's so many unusualities happening across the world at the moment. Now, we're going to be focused in on food over the next few videos because that's the most important thing to make our civilization go. No food, no people, no civilization. Food comes first, then comes the money. No other way around. And then we got a lot of events right now that are starting to, well, we'll see how long our crops, at least in this rotation for spring planting, are going to be delayed out. Now, it's really dry in the Midwest grow belt. So that in itself is going to have its set of problems. Before it was too wet, now it's too dry, and we start to see, down in let's say mid to southern China, they're really waterlogged. It's going to take a minute for that to get planted out there. And where else do we see different types of disruptions? Fields are going to be soggy and wet all across France as well, further down. And fields are going to be soggy wet all across France and southern Germany. We'll see how that goes for getting crops in the ground as well. So for right now, it looks like it's just a holding pattern. We're into the end of February here. Usually into April is when they really get it ready. So can things just stabilize for a minute until we can get back to our regular plant and harvest dates? That's the question. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. Springtime's here, planting it up. Get your gardens on trueleafmarket.com. Heirloom organic seeds for any grow zone on the planet. That link's in the description box below. As well as, do you feel more vitality as the sun is in the skies longer? Protovite Plus. Take your baseline to the next level. bni.life/adapt. That link's also in the description box. Both those links are in the description box below. Each purchase you make helps keep this channel on air, bringing you information and research just like this. Please share with your friends, family. Take that link, spread it through social, push the algorithm. I appreciate you spending your valuable time here tonight with me, and I'll see you next video. Bye for now.